When people are panicking and, fighting to sell their crypto, the whales are doing their work quietly. In this video, we're going to talk about 4 altcoins that the whales have probably already gone in. If you're new to my sessions, these are the 3 items I'll cover during the sessions. And I'm not a financial advisor, and these are not financial advice, just my personal observation for education purpose. Let's dive into the charts. This is the weekly chart of Chronos, the very first one we'll cover. And as you can see, it has already gone into a stage that's likely the selling climax. That's what I shared last week with a question mark. Okay, and the continuing of very low price spread and volume seems like it is the case. Okay, it's basically is confirming that the selling climax is probably there already. Okay, so this is where the panic over. Now, let's take out this. What to expect is that subsequent tests will follow. But before the subsequent tests, where the big guys are going to test, there's still a lot of paper hands holding the asset, or are there like more diamond hands over there? Before that happens, is the automatic rally that would kick in. Basically, that means from the selling climax itself, it will have a rebound, setting the horizontal trading range top, much like what happened back in March this year. All right, and that was around the yellow key level of 11 cents. However, this time, the selling climax seems to be ending somewhere higher. Okay, it hasn't finished yet. It can still close a bit lower for the next week or two. But then, if that's the case, if it really closes above this dash line of around 10 cents, this white dash line over here, it may come up to challenge or set the accumulation cycle range top above the yellow key level. Alright, somewhere between the 11 cents and the 12 cents 90. That's the big picture for Chronos. And we'll come back to the daily chart of Chronos to see whether there are any breakout timing that we're looking at. The second one is Casper. Similarly, but it has advanced a little bit compared to Chronos. We have seen the automatic rally already, and this week it's basically coming down slightly and found support currently at this white line, this white dash line. It's both finding reference from the previous preliminary support period, plus this period during 2023, August and September, where the prices found resistance. Okay, so this is where Casper is. Assuming that's confirmed, what happened next is that there would be second test, okay, meaning coming down back to around the yellow dash line of 3 cents 90 or even lower. Again, this is the period where paper hands or diamond hands are being tested. The third one is TAO. So for TAO, we haven't got into the selling climax yet. Previously, we already discussed that potentially it's going through a preliminary support stage. However, as of this moment, it only landed around the sign of weakness level at the yellow key level of 286. So previous 2 sign of weaknesses back in September and October, those 2 landed or tested this level and ended up closing higher than the yellow key level. As of this moment, this has come lower, but then there was quite a bit of buying when the price tries to test the 254 orange key level. You see the wicks from bottom, right? So it's not going up either. The selling from the green key level 328 is also obvious. The volume, however, has dropped to a pretty low level. So there's a potential that it's going to rebound. Just that when we get to the daily chart, we'll be able to see more. After the fourth one, after we look at the big picture of the fourth one, we'll get to those details. Alright, so if, however, TAO is going to accumulate at a higher level this time, meaning if this is where the selling climax is, which we can decide when the next few weeks comes in, then we can adjust further whether, if this is a higher level accumulation like what it did over here back in 2024 summer. The trading range top of that accumulation reached as high as the light blue key level of 366. Okay, so there's a possibility that the accumulation is going to happen at a higher level compared to what happened back in April, March this year. And last but not least, the fourth one is VELO. Again, into accumulation, still early stage. We've just seen the automatic rally. It's now coming down for a second test. All right, so let's take out this one. Again, same thing. Paper hands, diamond hands test continues. The volume is lower than the previous week. So let's see whether that would continue. Supposedly, it should remain at a rather low level. Okay? Now, big picture finish. Let's get to the daily chart of each of them and see what additional information the price actions are telling us. So for Chronos, it has basically edged outside of the downward trend. So it's a positive sign. Alright, so on November 25th, that had happened, and it set the automatic rally, the cycle top basically. There was a second test, and then another test to the north, just to come back for more tests. So it's normal, like I said in the beginning, multiple tests to test the paper hands and diamond hands. If there are only diamond hands remain, then there's no way the price can go further down. Okay, by that time, the whales will trigger another move then, and that's going to the north. So, if this downtrend has finished, currently, it's just basically a horizontal trend. So I don't have to draw a box because we've got these lines for reference already. The 10 cents as well as the about 11 cents, but it can test higher at around 11 cents 50 is where the current trading range top and bottom is. So if you're new to my session, sometimes I call these blue boxes, like blue boxes, air hockey table. So basically the price bounces off from the two edges as well as the center line. Likewise, if it is a horizontal table, okay, it happens the same way. Now, let's take a look at Casper. Casper, similar sense. However, the bottom currently is at around 3 cents 80, this yellow dash line. The trading range top is close to the red key level of 6 cents 50. Alright, so we're expecting the price to come down for a second test and then eventually likely more tests. It's not saying that the paper hands, diamond hands test would last for a year or two always, but hoping it to finish within 2 months. It did happen before in some assets, but it's not a common case. It really depends on the timing. Okay. Then we get to TAO. Similarly, TAO has exited the downtrend, so quite a number of good news, just in this session. And the horizontal trading range, you're already seeing it. We haven't seen the sign of strength yet, so this climb just barely climbed above the yellow key level of 286. Okay, we hope to see a challenge with meaning the white candle with white volume bar, taller white volume bar to be exact, to challenge the 328 green key level. This was where the automatic rally challenged. Okay, so the test will continue, and what we are hoping to see is the sign of strength. that kind of indicate, it's getting closer to the end of the accumulation. Finally, VELO. Again, selling climax has shown up, and that's a second test. You also notice the automatic rally. So last week it was still climbing, so that's why I put in a question mark asking, is it going to end at the purple key level? And it did close at around the 0.007 purple key level. Now that it's bouncing between these two key levels, 0.0054 and 0.007. Be mindful, however, the test will come eventually. So it can also go lower than the selling climax. If you look at this is a bit different from Casper and TAO. It's still trading at the weaker side of the air hockey table, or the downward channel. It's trying to move towards the stronger side. Again, if you're new to my sessions, once it moves to the stronger side, the chance of breakout is getting higher, or the timing getting to the breakout is closer. So there are at least three timing, assuming it's not going to drop too bad. All right. So the first one, if it climbs above the purple key level and trade sideways towards this angle, this is pointing towards the first week of January. All right. However, if this is really the trading range top for the accumulation, and it's going to, like I said, bounce between the 54 and 70. Eventually, it's going to get to this triangle tip that's pointing towards near the end of January. And by the time that's a decision point or confirmation to tell us whether the downtrend is going to continue, or is it going to move outside of the downtrend, completing the downtrend like what TAO and Casper did that I showed you just now. However, if it is really the pessimistic scenario that it really is going to stay in the downtrend for a little longer, the third opportunity, the third chance points to near the middle of February. All right, the support is 0.0039, that light blue key level, and from that point, mid-Feb is a very clear chance, or the chance to see the confirmation coming out, whether it's going to go outside of this downtrend. I am shrinking this to show you what happened to the left side. It's not too long ago. It was January 2024. The price climbed from the 0.0039 key level, okay, this light blue key level. So don't be surprised if subsequent test comes to this level. All right, the selling climax that week has dipped lower than the blue key level of 0.0054. So the current support, it has been broken just recently. So it's not something that should shock you, if it comes down again. All right, so this scenario is a little bit different from Casper and TAO. So that's all for the 4 coins. And if you have been with me for a while, some changes have been going on. I am rearranging the sessions, the format as well. And even this format is not going to stay, because I'm trying to maximize the number of projects I can cover for you. So expect something more rapid coming. And I'll leave all these, detailed explanations probably in certain beginners session, or I'll just make another video specifically for introducing my methodology. So you don't have to listen to it every single time. So once you have gone through that particular video, or if one time isn't enough, you can go through multiple times, and when you get familiar with the methodology and get into these rapid sessions, which I'll cover probably 40 to 50 coins in one session, then you can quickly grasp the idea. All right, so see you in the next session.